Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. So in this video I want to talk to you about if Rocket Lab is going to blow up after earnings or they're going to crash after earnings, and what my expectations are for Q1 of Rocket Lab. And you know, a lot of you I'm sure are wondering about this. A lot of people, I've seen a lot of tweets recently like, yeah, this earnings is going to take us to over $6. And here are my honest thoughts about this topic. By the way, before we start, please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, and let's go. So the truth is that I am not feeling this earnings as much as other companies. For example, Palantir, I've been buying call options on Palantir for $2,000. I posted it on Twitter, and that's something that I said I would do if certain things happen and my conviction is really high. But on Rocket Lab, I'm not feeling it because of the following. So this earnings is, okay, the stock is very underappreciated by Wall Street. And normally if you fall into earnings, it's very easy to make the stock go up. Latest example of that is Tesla. So Tesla went from like 180 down to like 138. Just before earnings. And you know, when you fall like 20-30% in a week before earnings, it's basically like if you just say that the company is not falling apart, you are going to have a nice boost to your stock price. The same when you rally into earnings, you know, when the stock is very, very high up just before earnings, then you know, a lot of expectations are already built in. So if you are just meeting the expectations, it's going to be like a sell the news event. Now, the problem is that Rocket Lab both crashed and went up into earnings. So let me show you or tell you what I mean. So we went from $6 in December, just after Christmas, to down to almost lowest ever prices, 340 something. So almost 50% down. And it was basically one slight pull up and almost a straight line down. But since that point, in the last 2 weeks, we have rallied up to almost $4. We almost touched $4 today. And that is it's very late when I'm recording it, but less than 20%, but more than 10% increase, very rapid increase into the stock price just before earnings. So we both crashed and ran up into earnings. So that makes the situation very, very complicated. Then the second thing that makes the situation very complicated is we know that they're going to report best ever earnings because they guided for this, and you know, it's very easy to follow their rocket launches, and they have been tweeting about the space systems, you know, producing different satellites. So we know that the results are going to be amazing. But because these results were guided for, is it that Wall Street never believed when they made this guidance, or these results are already priced in? So these are the things that make it very, very complicated. But now I want to talk to you about something more important. So what are the things that I think are the most important in the upcoming earnings? So I want to show you what they guided for. So they guided for 92 to 98 million in earnings, and this is 60 to 65 million from space systems and 32 to 33 million in rocket launches. They are saying that they currently are planning to launch 4 vehicles, and they managed to do that. So pretty much we can expect that they will get the max out of this. Let's go with the 33 million. Where we cannot be sure is the space systems 60 to 65 million. However, based on their tweets and what they have been tweeting, I think that the space systems division is probably also going to get either the middle or the high end of this guidance. So I put into my table here that I think we are going to get a 90. I haven't updated this, so this is just at the beginning of the quarter, but in the presentation here, today I did my last update. Of course, this has to be loading just now. It's so cool. You're doing the video and it doesn't want to work. Anyways, so I'll go with 94. I haven't updated this. This is my most optimistic Q1 earnings. So And as you can see, they did almost 55 million in Q1 2023. So it's going to be a major, close to 80% increase in revenue. So that is very, very amazing. The second thing that I want to look for is how are their gross margins developing. So we can see that both the adjusted and the GAAP gross margins are on the way up and at a very, very nice level. So they were 12%, 24, 22, and then 26 in the last quarter. That's the GAAP. And then the non-GAAP was 32, 29 to 32. Very, very healthy numbers, by the way. And one of the key takeaways, you know, when I analyzed what I missed on Tesla when they went 10x and, you know, what I didn't see, and it was actually their very high gross margins. Because, you know, you need to scale up production. We know that that's an issue for Rocket Lab. They're, you know, trying to come out with the Neutron rocket. But an early telltale sign that the company is very healthy financially is that the gross margins are, you know, industry leading and very, very healthy. And that is definitely the case with Rocket Lab. Then I want to see them talking about their backlog and what has happened with their backlog, and are they still expecting to deliver 41% of the backlog this year, which is a very, very high guidance. Again, that puts this is, by the way, the table that you get access to if you join the channel membership or you support the channel on Patreon, and thank you very much if you do. So you can see it's more than a 63%, because here I put a pessimistic number, increase year over year if they just deliver this 41% of their backlog. So I want to see, is the backlog growing? Are they still planning to deliver that number? So now a potential issue is with this earnings, again, which makes it so hard, is they lost $29 million adjusted EBITDA in Q4 2023, and that was the highest in basically all year 2023, and I believe it was one of their highest losses ever as a company. And this quarter they guided for between a $28 to $30 million adjusted EBITDA loss, which if it becomes 30 million, it's one of the highest losses that they've ever had as a company. And again, this is guided for, but how much of this is priced in? And, you know, when the news comes out, what are the algos thinking? Like, you know, highest ever loss, and then the stock is just going to be sold off. I'm a bit scared about this point. Now, let's try to make this presentation work. So I managed to get it up and running. So the next topic that I want to cover is what are the most important things for the stock price, because obviously not every data point that they report is created equal, and I honestly don't care how the algos react to what they're saying, as long as the company is doing great. So I really want to get an update on Neutron. I think that the street will be super much watching for this. Are we still on track for December launch? I highly doubt that we are, and I don't think that this is going to cause a decline in the stock price if they say that they're not, because I'm pretty sure the street at this point is thinking with that they're not going to be ready on time. But the biggest question is the delay going to be an extra cost for them? And if they see an issue where they need to maybe have a significantly more investment into Neutron. Remember that the budget that they set out was between $250 to $300 million on the development on Neutron. But if, you know, let's say the Archimedes engine needs to be redesigned, you know, that adds quite a lot of extra costs and delays into the development cycle. The Personally, I don't think that there's any big issues, but I would really like how they, on the last earnings call, if you remember, that they detailed out how the Electron rocket blew up, and they explained the physics of it. It would be so nice to get an explanation of what is the issue that they're running into with the Archimedes engine and why the test fire is not being done. Then the street would be insanely happy if we would get an update regarding neutron contracts, and also any contract, to be honest, like if they close more electrons, or if they get a new big order for their space systems. But I think that the neutron contract is the most looked for, and when they think that they can sign these neutron contracts. I already said this, but is the backlog growing? And are they still planning to deliver? Like, again, this is from the viewpoint for me as a long-term investor. I want to see their backlog growing, and I want to see them hopefully maybe even delivering more than this 41% of the complete backlog. So the next piece of news is they raised quite some money with this with this, oh my God, I forgot the word. So they raised money, over $300 million, and that was for the acquisition of a company. And I'm really curious if they have any news, if they started negotiations, or they're just going around, sniffing around at different companies, trying to find the best deal. My idea is that they have a specific company in mind, and they should be under negotiations, and it would be so nice to get news of, maybe they will even announce on the earnings call that this is the company that we are planning to acquire, or that we can expect in June to get an update about the acquisition. So the reason why I think that they already have a company in mind, because Adam Spice said that this was for a payload, that they want to add payload capabilities to their product lineup, and this will also give us clues on the future space infrastructure that they're wanting to develop, which is what makes me super bullish on Rocket Lab. So it would be insanely interesting and good, because we would finally get a peek into what they are thinking and what this space infrastructure is going to be. So any news on this is very, very appreciated. And then the third thing is, but this is more of a short term, what is the Q2 guidance? Are we going to have the first 100 million quarter, which is very possible because Space Systems is scaling up, and we still have 4 launches planned. Maybe even we will have a 5th one pushed in. Scotto 2050 is a fantastic account to follow, and he has very good research into how many launches are planned. And originally it was supposed to be that Q1 and Q2 were going to be super busy, and there was only going to be a few launches, I believe 3 in Q3, but somehow there was a lot of things being pushed forward. So now Q3 and Q4 are going to seem insanely busy. Hopefully. So if they could squeeze in another launch into Q2, I think it would be almost assured that they get the first 100 million quarter, which would be super amazing for the stock. All in all, I don't know if I managed to convey it in the video. I think that this is going to be a fantastic report for the company. It's going to show that the thesis is intact. The company is executing as we want them to. But it's anyone's guess how the stock market is going to react on it. And obviously, if you think that the stock is at a fair price now and it dips after earning, then you know what to do. And yeah, so let me know, guys, what you think. I'm going to be live streaming the earnings, so I hope you can join me on the live stream. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel, and if you want to support the channel, then join the membership, which I really appreciate. So thank you again, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.